This week's episode of the Wild Card Podcast is
Let me stop you right there. When I was doing the circuit...
Nope.
No.
Welcome to the Wild Card Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Eaton, and my co-pilots on this journey to wherever are my good friends Jeff Curtis.
Hello.
And y'all know him. Know how he earns a living. Ron, here's to swimming with bow-legged women, Blair.
I'll catch this fish for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be cheap. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. I'll find him for $3, but I'll catch him and kill him for $10. You gotta make up your minds. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
done.
good though. I mean, I was just enjoying
Thank
it.
you. I love that monologue.
After last week's episode, I went and bought Jaws and went home and watched it.
I watched it on July 4th.
Yeah. I think I watched it a couple days before that. That Sunday.
How awesome is that movie?
I had a couple issues early on.
Yeah.
With some of the things that didn't make a lot of sense to me.
You're just gonna have to learn to enjoy life.
But after that, I just got swept up.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. It was simple.
Yep.
But it didn't. I never felt too simple.
Right.
The character interactions were great. I really enjoyed them. Everyone made sense to me.
There is a moment, and I mean, I've seen Jaws dozens, literally dozens of times, and I noticed the scene where they're throwing out the meat from the dock.
Chum in the water, yeah.
It's an unnecessary scene. It builds a lot of suspense, and it's very scary with these two idiots, throwing the wife's holiday roast out.
Yeah.
Totally unnecessary to the story.
I think, don't they end up dead later, though?
No, you're thinking of Ben Gardner.
Okay, yeah.
Ben Gardner knew what he was doing. He was like one of the good fishermen.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up, I always thought it was his head rolling out the hole in the boat at Hooper. His body is attached to it.
Oh, okay.
I noticed
didn't see
the other day. His body is still attached because people were like, how the hell did we mention that last week? Like, how the hell did he bite off everything but the head and then place it nicely in the boat? Right, but his body, if you look close enough, he's still attached. It's just the shark sucked his eyeball out.
I was surprised at how gory it was.
Yeah, it's bloody.
It is.
It's
like
really
when
bloody.
Quint goes down at the end.
Oh yeah, and it's spitting up blood, and the shark's eating half of them. Yeah,
Ugh. It was great. It was great.
I haven't seen it for a while, so I don't know.
We could go. You need to watch it. We could do
another
Jaws.
I haven't watched it in a while.
I'll borrow the Blu-ray. I just bought the Blu-ray. Speaking of Blu-rays, I just went another time this week actually and bought 4 more. I bought. It was when I bought Jaws. Actually, I bought 3 others with it. Yeah. I bought Big on Blu-ray.
Such a good movie.
I really enjoy it. I bought Die Hard on Blu-ray.
I love Die Hard.
Blu-ray. And then have you guys seen Logan Lucky?
I've seen half of it.
I haven't seen it.
I think you would enjoy it.
You've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I want to see it, but I haven't seen it.
It's fun.
My analysis would be Ocean's 11 meets Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That kind of.
There's a lot of dumb characters in it.
But the performances are really solid.
No,
Adam Driver.
Outstanding.
Really
Adam
good.
Driver is so damn
Channing
good in
Tatum's
that movie.
fun in it. Like, he's charismatic in it. But Daniel Craig, James Bond, man, he steals the show.
Yeah, he's funny right from the moment you see him in the prison.
It blows my mind that range. To be able to play that character and James Bond is very, very impressive. Speaking of impressive things, the Wild Card Podcast.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the Wild Card Podcast, Ron, what is the Wild Card Podcast all about?
The Wild Card Podcast is about giving answers to questions one dares not ask.
All right.
That works. Okay.
Is that fair?
So we're answering questions
assessment?
no one's asking, or they're
no one
too
dares
afraid
to ask.
No one dares to ask these
afraid to
questions.
They don't want to
that
know
we
the
answer,
answers to.
And we're giving them anyway?
Now here's
we
a
don't
question
care.
everyone's been too afraid to ask since
give the
episode number 1.
Yeah.
In episode number 1, we were talking about chicken, and I gave my top 5 chickens, top 5 fried chicken restaurants,
yes, you did.
and I put Lee's Chicken on there.
Yeah.
And then in episode 2, we began a tradition that has continued ever since. The commercial. And that first commercial we did on episode 2 was Lee's Chicken. It's better than getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
Because all in episode 1...
That remains true.
Yeah, we lambasted the Lee's Chicken marketing campaign. And Ron laughed every time I mentioned that Lee's Chicken was a treat for me as a kid. I used the word treat.
I did. I mocked. I cajoled.
Right.
I was cruel.
Yep.
I taunted.
And last week, after the episode, Ron and I took a road trip up to Radcliffe.
Right.
To Lee's Chicken. And we both got the 5-strip tender basket.
Right.
With 2 sides.
Right.
Ron got mashed potatoes, which you didn't love.
I did not at all.
Yeah.
I ate some of it in the car just to do a taste test.
They're a little thin. They're a little thin.
Yeah, they were very thin. The gravy didn't help.
I don't do gravy.
There was no flavor to it, really.
Both my sides are mashed potatoes, no gravy.
Yeah.
But now you had some coleslaw as well.
It was the best goddamn coleslaw I have ever had. Like, it beats KFC's coleslaw, I have to admit. But my problem was the portion size. It was small.
Okay.
It was like one of those tiny little styrofoam cups. And KFC's cups aren't much bigger than that, but they're a little bigger than that. I had that complaint, but the chicken, good goddamn, that chicken was so good. It was tender. It was perfectly battered on the outside.
Large pieces of chicken.
I had the 5-piece crow strips and ate those crow strips with such relish that day. They were so good.
So you're saying it is better than getting kicked in the nuts? Then.
Oh yeah,
can confirm.
Yeah, it's better than getting kicked in the nuts. It's really better than getting kicked.
I would say
Anywhere.
it's
Anywhere.
I'm struggling in my brain to come up with chicken tenders that are better.
Yeah, I still like Zaxby's better. Zaxby's still my number one.
Zaxby's is in my top 5.
I love them.
Although I haven't been to Zaxby's in a long time, but
It's so tasty.
yeah.
Well, all I can say about Zaxby's is I went there with Madeline like 2 weeks ago for lunch.
Yeah.
Don't go there for lunch. They had cars going around the entire building. We went inside. We stood at the counter for like 5 minutes before someone even asked us what we wanted for our order.
Yeah.
The service in this town is the absolute worst. Zaxby's is horrible for service. They'll deliver you tasty food and kick you in the nuts while they do it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the nut kicking
That
place
is terrible
now.
service, actually.
Yeah, it's the worst service.
The food was fine. I didn't find it so amazing, though.
I love it.
I've been there before. It's been several years, and it'll probably be a couple more now since the service was
We
so
went
bad.
there in 1984, didn't we? Did you go with us during 1984?
Well,
I thought you meant
but-
the year. I'm like, wow,
Right,
you
right.
remember
I didn't actually know you in 1984, but
a
when we were
specific
doing
chicken restaurant.
1984,
Yeah.
we did go there, yes.
Yeah.
Which I think was the last time I had gone there.
Oh, and you thought it was mediocre or whatnot. And that's okay.
It's all right. Maybe my attitude would have been better if I wasn't already disappointed in the fact that the service was horrible and that their fountain drink machine wasn't working.
The goddamn thing is down all the time. And I don't know what management is up to at that store where the machines are always broken and they apparently have low standards.
Well,
and their ice ran out.
But
and their
always.
ketchup ran out.
Always.
But look at
They never have anything.
how many vehicles were there.
It was all around the entire building.
So what's their impetus to fix these problems if
Yeah,
everyone's
there's
showing
nothing.
up anyway?
There's nothing. It's just, god damn, guys, come on.
All right. So the three of us have some camaraderie
Yeah.
over fried chicken. Even though Jeff,
I've never had Lee's. I saw where Lee's was when I had to take Madeline up to
Allegro.
rehearsals at Allegro,
Yeah.
which
I picked up Lee's a lot on the way back home from Allegro. So the three of us, we're gonna go into the favorites question today.
Excellent.
And it's a little out there today.
I hope it's not about
very
chicken.
different. It is not about chicken.
Not about
Okay,
chicken.
not about chicken. It's
It's
not
about
about
the three of us.
It's about the best
fried cheese. I can do fried
Okay,
cheese.
I can
It's
talk
about
cheese all
today's
day.
favorite section is the best hamburgers you could buy in 1997. Jeff, what was yours?
We already did a hamburger one. We did a hamburger.
I was a
No, but Jeff
vegetarian in
was a vegetarian
1997.
in
Oh wait, that was the top 5 episode.
In 1997, I was eating Boca burgers, which are not made out of meat. They're made out
They're
of...
not bad, though.
They're not bad.
I would
really
give you
not bad.
almost the same answer now that I would have given you in 1997. Because in 1997, I would have been elementary school.
No.
And my favorite hamburger, I'm not sure it's changed much since then. Except for I found some other places that are really... it probably has changed a bit, but it'd still be Wendy's. In terms of
Those are
fast
good
food,
burgers.
I like Wendy's
good
burgers
burgers.
over any other burger. But the three of us...
Okay. Oh, I have to correct you, though. You did the burger favorite the week before, and then it was on my
okay.
top 5, and I was like,
That's
thanks,
what-
Jared.
okay.
Thanks for screwing me up, man.
what I do.
All right, let's get to this.
The three of us are in a
We
tavern.
got business today.
We're in a
Come on.
tavern, okay?
All right.
We're in a tavern, okay.
And we're hearing
I'd buy that.
these rumors
What are we drinking in this
of
tavern?
whatever you want. I probably got a ginger ale in a tankard.
Honey mead.
I've got a tankard of ginger ale.
Right.
And we hear rumors of this lost gold, this treasure guarded by some sort of hideous creature.
Right.
And the three of us decide to journey out,
As we would.
as we would,
Right.
Yeah,
to take
no,
on this
very
creature
realistic.
This is exactly what we
and
would
win
do.
the treasure.
Right.
This is a D&D type scenario.
Excellent.
And I want to know what your classes are. What class would you be in this D&D scenario? And
Right.
what class do you think the other guys would be? So first, what would you say? Do you want to say what you think the other people would be first before you say what you think you would be?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've given you guys a list of classes.
Yes, you have.
That are kind of, I guess I'm sure there are others beyond this in this typical D&D campaigns, but these are the typical classes. So I think we should go what Ron is first.
Okay.
Because he's the only one who's had an entire episode about him.
That's true.
So Jeff, what did you put down that you thought Ron would be?
I thought Ron would be the rogue.
Okay, I put that as well as one of my Ron
shit.
classes. You didn't think that?
No, that's what I picked for myself.
Okay.
So
Well, I mean,
I'm really
let's
shocked.
look at the first two words it says for rogue. It
A
says
scoundrel.
Well, yeah.
Who uses stealth and trickery to overcome obstacles and enemies.
That was my first.
That's it. I thought you guys were going to call me a barbarian.
That was my other Ron class.
Yeah,
I put barbarian because it's a warrior type, and Ron, you're a bigger.
That's
you're
what I had
bigger-
down for number 2. too.
So both of my classes I picked for Ron were barbarian and rogue, and that's
Yes.
what Jeff put as well. Because either you're stealthy
Right.
and you're tricking people and deceiving people and picking locks and
That happens.
using charisma. Rogues
Right.
can often use charisma to get out
Right.
of problems. Or like there's barbarian and there's fighter. When I think barbarian or fighter, I think typical warrior archetype. And I could see you being like a tank type character, absorbing
Yeah.
damage. But I could also see you being the guy who's got an axe in each hand and who's got like a bloodlust just going after enemies.
That's more Ron.
That's more what I think of as barbarian.
That's much me when I'm fighting.
That's
sure.
much
Yeah.
more. That's much Ron.
Oh, yeah.
It's much me.
A fierce warrior of primitive background who can enter a battle rage.
And that's why I picture the double axes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be a two-handed weapon, but I picture double axes.
Oh no, it'd be double
No,
axes.
when we
He'd probably have something on his head spinning too,
Yeah.
with like a
during
saw.
during the downtime at Nightmare Forest, all of us idiots that were working there, we would take sticks and fight one another with them. Sometimes in a ring of fire that we would make with gasoline.
Did
on
you
the
fall
gravel.
into a ring of fire?
I fell
Did
out
you
of
go
it.
down, down,
I
down?
fell out of it, and I did burn.
Did the
do
flames burn
They all
higher?
burned. We would light the sticks on fire, but my weapons of choice were 2 sticks that I would fight with each hand.
Yeah.
While I'm fighting these guys. And I
Ron
got pretty
doesn't use
badass at
shields.
it. No, I'll take the hit.
And
So-
he's just ignoring my Johnny Cash reference.
No, I enjoyed it.
Moving past it.
I loved it.
We got to walk the line here of selling too much to these jokes. So do we
Right.
want to go to what Ron says Ron is, or do we want to go to someone else? I think we go what Ron says what
No,
Ron
I'm a
is.
rogue.
Yeah, already.
My first and second choice is
Yeah.
rogue. There's no way I'm
Well,
not a rogue in
I'll be
life.
honest.
And
There are a couple other classes on here I came close to picking for.
well, warlock. would have
Warlock
been
was
one.
close for me
And
because
the-
Warlock is typically like makes a pact with a demon.
Right.
And so they gain powers from what type of demon they're committed to.
Right.
And then there's a class on here I'd never heard of. That's
Yeah.
kind of like a combination warlock and warrior called a
Right.
blood hunter. A fanatical slayer that embraces dark knowledge to destroy evil.
Yeah.
I could see that being
That's
Ron
me.
as well.
But I don't. Well, yeah, I would destroy evil. Sure.
yeah, sure. If you have to.
Are you
Well,
chaotic,
you know,
are you chaotic evil? Chaotic neutral probably?
I'm chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've done this nerd game before. I'm chaotic neutral.
I could see that.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. What do we say Jeff is? I
I'm
bet we agree on this one too.
Well, the first one, I'm going to give Jeff a wizard.
Okay, that was one of my Jeff ones.
I thought of sorcerer, but
Nah.
it's a magic from a gift or a bloodline, and Jeff
yeah,
gets his
Jeff works.
magic honestly.
Jeff has done some work. He's
yeah,
put in
that's
work.
the thing. Jeff is studious.
Yeah, I picked wizard as well. A scholarly magic user capable of manipulating the structures of reality.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
even said, was it last week when I said Jeff is Gandalf or Dumbledore or
Yeah.
something like that? Maybe a couple weeks ago. Primary ability, intelligence, wisdom, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And was your other one Bard?
Of course it was Bard.
Bard.
Of course Bard was my
Yeah,
other one for
that's
Jeff.
an obvious
An
choice for Jeff.
inspiring magician whose power echoes the music of creation.
Yeah.
That's Jeff.
Yeah.
Inspiring with music.
It's,
yeah.
dexterity and charisma. Those
Yep.
are your strengths.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
I put down that I was a paladin,
Interesting.
and Bard was my second one.
I would buy Paladin.
I would buy you as a tank. I don't know Paladin. Because I feel Paladin is like holy is the important
Right.
thing. And not that you're
Yeah.
not a good person.
Bound to a sacred oath, though, you know.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
have to be a deity. It doesn't necessarily.
Right.
It could be more of an oath than a deity.
It could be
I always
anything,
think
yeah.
deity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why
Yeah.
I chose Paladin for you, Jared.
That was one of the
That's
ones I
my
picked. Yeah.
choice for you.
Really?
Yeah.
That was one of the two I picked for myself.
Oh, Jeff, what did you pick for yourself?
I picked-
Bard.
I
You
picked
Bard,
paladin,
didn't you?
and then Bard was my
Oh,
second.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bard, you agree with that one?
Yeah, I totally
All right.
buy
So what did
that.
you guys pick for me?
I gave Jared a wizard,
Wizard.
Really? Interesting.
That's good. I'd
Not
give
one
it-
of the ones I picked for myself.
and then my other Jared choice was a cleric.
I didn't pick that, but it was in consideration.
Yeah, that's definitely a priestly champion who wields divine magic in service of a higher power. I think that's good, but I like Paladin better.
Paladin is
for-
one of the
for
ones I picked
Jared.
for myself, because I think tank. Like I
Right.
don't know that I'm going to be doing a lot of damage, but I
Right.
want to be up front protecting other people from harm. Which cleric does the same thing, but they heal them after the fact.
Well,
My
if
second
you were-
one's probably not one you picked. Probably not one you picked for me.
Well, I think you'd be. in certain circumstances, if it were only about fighting, I think Jared would be a ranger.
That's what I picked. That's the other one I picked myself.
Yeah,
It's more like
that's
nature,
more the archer
animal companion,
kind of thing,
but also kind of like loner.
Well, I wanted to go druid, but I don't. That's not 100% match there. I think ranger.
Ranger,
would be.
because I love the animal idea.
Yeah.
Druid becomes animals. Ranger befriends animals, which is more of what I what I was like when I was a kid. Was the idea of that.
And he's an archer. Jared's totally an archer.
Yeah.
You're a ranged weapon user, which works for both the paladin and the
Really,
and the ranger.
paladin ranged weapons?
Yeah.
I think like
magic.
I would think mace and shield if I was a paladin. Like I'm probably not going to be hitting as hard as some other people are, but I'm going to be up front, like absorbing them. So I picked ranger and paladin for myself. I like that there was some agreement within us as we were picking each other.
Almost,
we all do
almost
rogue.
obvious.
Yeah, one's a rogue.
Yeah, there's no doubt on that.
But the thing is, I think we make a good. I think the three of us could be a good party.
I think we could be.
Absolutely.
Because we're a party everywhere we go.
Yeah, if Jeff was a paladin, Ron was a rogue,
bring the
and I
party.
was
That's
a
right.
ranger or a cleric or something.
We'd whoop some ass.
All right, we would. We'd get
Yeah.
that treasure.
Oh yeah.
All right,
We have the treasure.
We
you
have
have the
treasure
treasure,
here.
right? We've got you as well, who's also the treasurer.
Pretend treasure.
Yeah.
Basically the treasurer. Yeah,
You're the pyrite.
fool's gold.
The pyrite.
Fool's
That's
gold.
right.
Iron pyrite. Well, we're a bunch of fools, so I think that works out just well. You and I are fools. Jeff's not a fool.
No, Jeff's not a fool.
Hey, it's my turn to do an episode.
Excellent.
Yay! We're gonna get the in-depth, scholarly.
Not so much this
Take
week. I don't
on-
have a. I don't so
Yet
much have a
holy.
report this
Get
week.
holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
In-depth
well, we
report.
are talking about. We will be getting into some things that are kind of D&D related later on.
Okay, cool.
But first, I want to talk apocalypses.
Oh.
All right.
We have
So,
a variety of apocalypses.
There are
we can
many.
talk
Well,
about?
and
Well,
for-
we're on the way.
I'm thinking literature, movies. There are many different takes on what could be the end of civilization.
Right.
Right.
So, what are some examples, maybe that you can think of?
The stand.
Yeah, that's what we're
Death
talking
of
about. That's what we're talking about
civilization.
today. The stand. is what
Oh,
we're
we're
talking about.
talking about the
excellent.
stand.
I was hoping we wouldn't get to that till later, but yeah.
Well,
the
it's
stand.
the
The stand,
best
ruined.
apocalypse.
I
the
have
stand is what we're
ruined.
talking about today.
I have ruined both of your
No, it's fine.
both of your last two podcasts by just spouting out the answer right
Well,
away.
we're going to come back to it. It's not like
Okay.
we ruined it. It's just that was. I mean, and honestly, I picked a list of 10 apocalypses, and Plague was first.
Yeah. Plague and then the Fallout universe, which I spend a lot of time in. That's the post-nuclear.
Nuclear war. And I've got a book
Yeah.
that I don't know if you guys have read. That's a post-nuclear one.
No, I've never heard
Swan
of that.
Song
no.
came out in 1987.
I've heard of Robert McCammon, though.
I forget, there was an award that year that it tied with Misery on in terms
No
of like winning
shit.
winning a literature award. This is a really good it's very, very similar to The Stand.
Yeah.
But its fallout was not caused by disease, it was caused by nuclear war.
What was the apocalypse that happened before the Postman? You remember the movie The Postman?
I
It's
never
based on a
saw
book.
it. I remember hearing about it, but I never saw the movie.
Okay, well.
So I've got 10 apocalypses. And what I kind of want to do as we go through these is think, what's the likelihood
Right.
and how would we do?
Yeah.
Oh, we'd be dead.
Oh, we'd absolutely.
You think plague killed us off? You think all three of us died from the plague?
Well, in the stand, though, you have people who are resistant to the strain for
Well,
no
and
apparent reason,
we're gonna
you know?
talk later on when we get into the characters of the stand, which is mostly what this episode is going to focus on because
Yeah.
there's so many characters. You know, which ones we all kind of
Like Jeff is Larry Underwood.
I'm absolutely
you're Stu.
Larry
Yeah.
Underwood.
Well, you want to be Stu. That's not who I
I
think
want to
you
be
are.
Stu. I think I'm Randall Flagg.
No, I disagree.
you
with you.
No, you don't think I'm that evil?
We'll get to it later. I want to come back to that because I know I've got a mix of two people who I think you are in the middle.
Okay.
So
Trash Can Man. No.
I do love that
character,
character.
though.
I do
Yeah.
love that character. Have you guys read the abridged or unabridged?
I've only
both.
read the abridged.
I've only read the unabridged.
Yeah.
So there's some things you don't know
My
about.
first one
Yeah, there's
was
stuff I
the
don't
abridged.
have.
And
Yeah. And when I first took to it, all I had was the unabridged. And,
That's
like,
what-
I've only read this copy, kind of, except for what you've got. We'll talk about
I
later.
read the first 400 pages of the unabridged, and I went, oh. I mean, it's good. I'd
should
read it before, though. I'm like,
you should read the abridged then. The original, the one that was put out first.
Well, I've read the
It's like
abridged.
400 pages
Nah.
less.
Yeah, I've read that one. That's like 900 pages, 800, 900 pages.
It's like
It's a big old book.
Yeah,
It's a
I
big
think
book.
it's less than that. I think it's like 800.
I think,
This
yeah.
one's 1,200, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's-
thinking.
Yeah, this one's just
it's
under
it's
1,200. It depends on
it's
the-
still a big book, but the story's more condensed. But it doesn't feel condensed.
Yeah.
After
No, when I
reading
read
it
it,
and then
it
reading
was-
the unabridged, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot more added in here, but I'm not sure any of it was necessary.
Right.
Well, I think that was the
Right,
point
no,
with
I
why it
think
was
so.
printed that way initially. And he came back and he's like, oh, I'm making money. I can put out what I want to put out.
Right,
And this is what
yeah.
I want to put out. The director's cut. All right,
Yeah.
so Plague Apocalypse. I've got a website I found. It gives a little brief description of these 10 apocalypses.
Yeah.
Apocalypses?
Apocalypses.
I like apocalypses.
Apocalypse.
I know that's not the appropriate term, but I sure do like saying apocalypses.
Apocalypse.
Great.
I don't know.
Plague. This one's fairly easy. Like a few others on the list, it's based on real-life fear.
Right.
Of global pandemics, runaway diseases, especially in the age of Ebola paranoia, which was just a couple years ago.
Well, with
but
global
even like
warming,
Spanish flu,
there are
bubonic
diseases
plague.
that are popping up that we aren't aware of and have no resistance
But
to.
another fear in this one is globalization. The notion of crossing borders, traversing the globe, and how easy that's become, and
Right.
diseases that start in the third world can travel to Europe, US with alarming speed. Finally, there's a hint of paranoia about science, which either created the disease or can't solve it.
Right.
Well, I think all of those are legitimate, although the likelihood is small of any of it happening.
Right.
You know, yes, disease can be spread globally by people traveling around, but that still doesn't mean that most people are going to be anywhere near the people who...
Sure.
It's like that whole Ebola thing was just...
Well, Ebola is an incredibly deadly disease.
Yes.
If you get Ebola, you are probably going to die, but you are probably not going to get Ebola because it's so difficult to contract.
The
Yeah.
fear of these diseases is easier to spread than the actual
Absolutely.
disease
The
itself.
hysteria.
There's 5 or 6 years ago, there was every year it was either the bird flu, the avian flu,
Yeah.
or this is
H1N1.
probably 10, 15 years ago, but there was a disease of the year every year, and it was going to kill you, and everybody had it. Like Hep A is going around, and that's a serious thing.
Absolutely.
You don't want to get it,
Yeah, liver is really important.
but the fear of it spread much more quickly than the disease did.
Yeah.
And
Now-
yet, how did the disease spread? Because the fear spread so much more quickly.
Well-
Use some fucking gloves. Wash your hands.
Well,
people.
that's the thing. There are certainly diseases that could spread and just wipe us all out.
Sure.
Probably if the right thing was
Rabies could do it. If rabies became more
Yeah.
easy to pass, rabies
Yeah.
would kill us all.
if it was let loose. But most basic hygiene and not passing blood or bodily fluids with other people will
Right.
basically prevent most of these things. For
Right.
most
That's
people.
tough though, because Ron and I exchange urine 3 times a week.
Yeah,
we
but-
just can't
at
go
minimum.
without it. Yeah.
At
But that's
minimum.
on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But
Right.
So the other one we mentioned was nuclear holocaust.
Still only $5.
Yeah.
It's 3
It's
times,
cheap.
but it's
It's-
So
$5.
I would
yeah.
recommend Swan Song to you guys. Very good book. Nuclear Holocaust. Another category that kind of fits under is war that kills almost everyone. But with where we are with war now, it kind of seems like those kind of go together.
Yeah, that's
Weapons of mass
likely.
destruction that get deployed could be biological, chemical, seismic, or even like there are other ones that are like even people come up with.
well, I think as horrible as those are, I think those are the least likely things to happen because anyone releasing those would know that the response would be the same to
Well, and that's the
them.
point of this. That's
Which
why
is-
this is such a common apocalypse.
Which is why
it's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, which is why no nuclear war ever happened between the United States and the USSR. Even at its height, both sides knew that to fire their nuclear weapons was to have a nuclear holocaust
Right.
descended on them as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
And
It's the world is over.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no winning it.
The
Right.
point of this sort of apocalypse is usually not just that our technology has reached the level of near total self-destruction, but rather that humans are short-sighted and kind of awful.
No,
Well, we have leaders
Canada-
at the moment that I don't trust
Yeah,
that says, "Oh, we'll blow them up. What are they going to do about it?"
Yeah.
And not
wait a
thinking
second.
they're probably going to hit us.
Short-sighted,
back up.
as I said,
But
short-sighted.
he's an idiot, and he'll get
Yeah.
us all blown up eventually.
As Charlton Heston observes, we blew it up.
Yeah.
Damn us all to
Damn
hell.
us all to hell. We
all to
blew
hell.
it
All
up.
right, so those are 2 apocalypses. Can you guys come up with other ones?
Well, there was the Y2K apocalypse, which wasn't really
Oh, the
about
technology
failing.
technology failing because there was 2 digits missing from all these dates.
Right,
But it didn't. Nothing happened.
Had that happened, what would honestly be the worst thing that could happen?
You'd have a whole bunch of IT guys having to
That's the
go
worst.
around
Thing.
and fix
Oh
things.
God, I got to work on New Year's Day now.
Well,
That's
the idea
worst
of
thing that's
technology
gonna happen.
failing is we lose power.
Right.
We lose it. So like EMP or something like that, losing electricity, and now all of a sudden all these things that have been done for us by electricity, we have to figure out how to do.
Right.
It's related to another scenario called the slow apocalypse scenario, but it often happens more quickly. Our vaunted high technology suddenly crashes due to EMP or failure of the electrical grid. This genre starts with the E.M. Forster story, The Machine Stops, but it also includes other TV show revolutions. S.M. Stirling's Dies the Fire. These often highlight how dependent we are on technology and how quickly our social expectations revert to an earlier barbaric form without it. Lacking birth control, computers, people snap back into patriarchal modes, but there's often a kind of nostalgia and a sense of relief that we're returning to a simpler way of life.
No,
that is associated with that
I don't
one.
think there's any such thing as returning to a simpler way of life.
There was never a simple way of
No.
life. People have always.
But that's
struggled
why
to
the word
survive.
that's why the word
You can try to
nostalgia.
fabricate
it. Yeah,
That's
no.
why those rose tinted
Right.
glasses
Yeah.
are. It's not so much that it is better. Is
Yeah.
people always talk about how can you imagine living in Victorian England? Yeah, dying of dysentery sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, the
Cholera sounds
Well,
wonderful.
I think people like people who already live on farms or in the country right now, if they lost technology, it would probably be fine for the most part because they
know how to survive.
They already have food sources and stuff like that. People in cities would be pretty well screwed because you don't have
there
any
would
way
be
to rent
rioting
food
and looting and people.
So
freaking
it
out
all
and
depends on
that.
where
There's
you're
law,
at.
There's no order in a place like that.
But it also depends on how long I can't imagine it. Even if the entire electrical grid went down, I can't imagine it staying down long enough for
That's the
everybody to
thing.
kill each other.
There are contingencies everywhere.
Right, and you can go in and the computer's not working. Well, hardwire some crap.
Right.
And
And you can't tell me the people of New York are not used to brownouts and blackouts.
well, I lived through a blackout in New York, and let me tell you, it's no freaking fun.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, no, it's not that it's crazy. It's that all the air conditioning goes off because you have no.
God, yeah.
The TV goes off, the lights go off, the street lights go off, so driving you can't do the subways because the subways run on electricity, and so when I was there during a blackout, and the blackout lasted for like 12 to 24 hours. It was the whole upper East Coast lost power.
Good God.
And so I ended up driving some people who had been at work in Manhattan. Somehow they got someone to drive them across the bridge into Queens, and I drove them home, which further out on Long Island, and drove back. But there were no stoplights. There were cops.
Oh, shit.
There were cops directing traffic at every corner, and there were flares burning and stuff like
Right.
that. And it was fine, but your refrigerator can only keep
your
things
food's
cold.
done.
So it was a fucking pain in the ass.
I'm sure.
And I wouldn't want to keep doing it for very long, but it's survivable for a few days. There were no riots.
Right.
People weren't
no
breaking
fun.
into stores and stealing
Ron wasn't
everything.
there.
It's because I wasn't there to incite the riot.
After your food spoils after a couple days, then you're going to have to find a way to get food. That's when it becomes a problem. But, by then they had the power back on.
Sure.
So slow apocalypse, kind of that same thing as technology fails, but not necessarily because of technology failing.
Yeah.
Is societal collapse, slow environmental decline. Those kinds of things can cause it. The idea that our economic systems aren't sustainable and eventually
Right. Well,
it's
that's
not going
happening.
to work. Right.
Right.
But it's not usually the whole earth. It's
You're right,
it's certain
you're right.
places
It's
collapse.
certain places that have that sort of
But we're in the United States. We are the whole Earth. We think.
We're what?
So we are the United States. We are the whole Earth. So we think.
Oh yeah.
I ask my kids this question every single year. I ask them what percentage of Earth is the United States. What percentage, like in terms of like
Landmass?
exactly, but of the entire planet.
Of the entire planet, what is it, like 10%?
1.9.
1.9.
Right, and that's what everyone guesses. Everyone just assumes we are such a large.
Because
planet.
there's also all that water.
That's
You're
true.
counting all the
That's
water
it,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
was.
the-
I'm
the
talking about
water
the entire
mass.
Earth, but yeah.
Yeah.
1.9%.
But even if you count landmass, it's not as big as people think it is it?
We're
No.
the third largest country, I believe,
Yeah.
in terms of landmass. And it's. I don't think we're even close to Russia and Canada though. Like we're pretty far behind them.
Canada or China?
Oh, Canada. In
Okay.
terms of landmass.
We
You
have
say,
more
oh,
landmass
Canada?
than China.
Absolutely.
No, he said Russia and Canada.
No, he asked me Canada or China. I said, oh, Canada. All right, apocalypses. We've named 4 of my 10.
Canada.
Think movies.
Or
books.
The melting of the ice caps. Does
Okay,
that
natural
count?
disaster.
Natural disaster. That's
And
the
this is
Waterworld.
This
with
is
Kevin Costner as
meteors,
well.
comets, solar flares, which kind of ties back into technology failing,
Yeah.
but also volcanoes. Roland Emmerich.
Right.
Also, the global warming could
Yeah.
cause all that
Well,
stuff.
that's
too.
because
all
It's
that could be,
environment.
all global warming can lead to global flooding,
Right.
Ice age, that
Right.
kind of thing. So, but the idea of that one is we are not in control.
Right.
That this is something we can't stop
Well,
because
it's many of these things we can't
The
stop.
Earth was here
Right.
before us. The Earth will
Right.
be here after us. That's the natural disaster category.
Right.
I'd buy that.
Yeah. And then there's the biblical one where you've
Okay.
got the
Biblical yeah,
Certain
the rapture
people,
and
certain
all that.
people die or vanish, and this is not
Right.
just Left Behind, but also like The Leftovers. There's a lot of other one where some people just disappear, but this is often the conservative Christian.
Right.
This is how the world ends. and
One day they're going to
everything
be
falls to
away
pieces
from
about
us filthy sinners.
Yep.
And go to their heavenly mansions in the sky. Here's my thing. If you're in heaven, why do you need a mansion? How
how materialistic of you as a human to live your life so that you can get a mansion in the sky. That's horseshit logic.
Really? Especially when you can get 70 virgins if you
right,
have different
or
religion.
the idea that I'm going to be really good now, even if I have to suffer now, I'm going to be rewarded. I'm doing all this for a reward.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You're doing it
I'm
for
only
you.
treating people well because it's going to benefit me in the long run.
And
Yeah.
these-
When I'm dead, I'll get to enjoy
But how many
the benefit of
how
this,
many
yeah.
times have you heard a religious leader try to sell them on that bullshit that they'll have a mansion in heaven? Well, then you're an asshole. If you're being holy and reverent towards something or someone only so that you can win the lottery in heaven, you're a dick. That's dumb.
I've got 4 more. And these are the
Okay.
ones I would have thought you would have. Well, one of them I probably don't think you would. Have you guys? Either you guys seen Wall-E?
Well,
No,
yeah, that's
I've
too
not
much
seen
garbage.
it.
Yeah, but
I've told you,
so
that's-
an
you
apocalypse.
You told me about it. I know.
An apocalypse
I don't
where-
have the opportunity.
or
to
even
see it
like
right now.
Firefly.
No, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen
good.
Joss Whedon's
but,
Firefly.
but the idea of this one is humans abandon the Earth. So the Earth is an
Gotcha,
apocalyptic wasteland because we've left it with all our stuff left
because
behind.
we fucked it and then we left it.
Exactly. So we've found somewhere else to go mess up.
We left $5 on Earth's nightstand.
So that's this is a quote from Serenity. We broke our original planet because we were too many. Leaving Earth for dead, turning it into a garbage dump, ecological collapse, something like that. So we leave it behind.
Which is kind of what our creating a story was about.
So the
wasn't it?
other 3 are much less
They have to
likely,
go out
but
and-
much more fun.
Much more fun?
Yeah,
more fun.
When some people think apocalypse, you came to Plague first. Most people would not have gone to Plague first. They would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, it's,
And we haven't gone there yet?
We have not said it
I
yet.
grew up with the Stand, so the plague is
Right.
what that and
Think-
nuclear apocalypse.
Think
that's all I
movies
think
from the
about.
last 10 years.
You know, I don't
What-
watch.
what
Marvel
in-
I don't
comics?
watch new movies.
Well, I actually do have
the
a Marvel.
mutants, the mutant.
I do have a Marvel comic here.
Let's see, what do we got? The Wolverine.
Old Man Logan.
Mutations?
This is like Old Man Logan. This is a kind of post.
Wait, he doesn't age, though.
Well, this is the adamantium in his body has been poisoning him slowly, and his healing factor finally can't keep up with it because he's got this metal in his body. But this one, it kind of goes to monsters and aliens.
Monsters and aliens.
So in
of
Old Man
course.
Logan, what happens? Not so much monsters or aliens, but kind of.
Yeah.
The supervillains basically trick Logan into killing all the X-Men. Like,
Oh, I've heard about
and
that,
So,
yeah.
And so all the good guys are kind of ended because Wolverine killed them all.
Yeah.
And so the bad guys take over. So like the Hulks, the evil Hulks take over the West. Kingpin has an area. Doctor Doom has an area.
Yeah.
Red Skull becomes president. All these Marvel villains.
Right.
But think Godzilla.
Yeah, that's,
Or,
that's
um,
the
yeah.
Cloverfield stuff.
Or
Pacific
Independence
Rim
Day,
kind of thing.
Pacific
Independence
Rim,
Day,
Mars
yeah.
Attacks.
Right, right.
Invasion by
Invaders
aliens?
from Mars.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, I don't take those kinds of
Right.
world scenarios very seriously.
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, you can't.
That's why they didn't occur to me.
But
But this is one where we can't reason with it because it's a foreign thing. We're not as in control as we think we are.
right, there's no way to communicate.
But we're
with
not
these
in as
things.
much control as we
You're
think
right.
we
But
are.
this one's more than that.
No shit.
This one, I think, is fear of colonialism being on the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
So us being taken over.
Exactly.
Well, of course we have that
that's
fear
the whole
as
fear
Americans,
of
don't we?
that's the whole fear of illegal alien or not
Xenophobia.
aliens. Yeah, the migrants
Xenophobia.
coming
And
in.
to another extent, we as the United States have been a military power for a long time. What if
Right.
our weapons were ineffective?
Well, yeah.
Like, we've got the military power,
That's a
but what if
natural
we can't?
fear.
So
Everything
that's a
we
fear.
rely on, if everything we rely on to defend our people is beaten, then that's horrifying.
Yeah.
We've got 2 more on my list, and they're 2 the ones I thought you would have gotten to first.
Well, I'm pretty dumb today. More so than most days.
You're gonna have to give me a visual clue.
Is this World War Z zombies?
Zombies.
The zombie
The
apocalypse.
zombie apocalypse.
Why would I have come up with zombie apocalypse?
Movies.
I should have come up with
Every
zombie
movie.
apocalypse.
I mean, so many zombie movies. The living dead rampage across the land, and anyone who dies
I'm
or gets
dumb
bitten
today.
becomes one of them. I mean,
Yeah,
Walking
you should have
Dead.
gotten it.
I
Yeah.
should have gotten this.
You suck, man.
I do. In fact, yesterday when it was nice and pretty outside, I was driving around thinking, this is a good day for the zombie apocalypse.
Check this.
to
I
start.
love these
It
sentences
was just
here.
that kind of day.
The survivors have to stick together, except there's usually some maniac who tries to create the ideal society or impose his or her will on everybody else. And zombies can be an easy metaphor for whatever you want, but they often represent the working class, or immigrants, or the underclass.
Right.
They are the faceless herd of humanity who are mindlessly involved in consumption and labor, not like our heroes who are true individuals.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on this tangent here.
Really?
Not so much a
You're gonna
tangent.
go on a tangent?
But we're
I accept
talking
your
about
tangent.
zombies, and
I
how can
accept
I
your
not talk about zombies here? In almost every zombie story, you have that group of survivors that you're talking about with one antagonist. The antagonist is never the zombies.
No.
And you can...
They're just part of the environment now.
Right, exactly. Now, Howard Hawks did the same story with Rio Bravo, in which the sheriff is trying to hold the jailhouse, the sheriff's station, against, the outlaws from the outside.
Yeah.
Night of Living Dead is the same concept.
Yeah.
You replace the zombies with the criminals. John Carpenter did it with Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
Prince of Darkness, he did it with demons on the outside and the people trying to figure everything out on the inside. It's an old story.
Yep.
It's the survivors on the inside. The real enemies are one another, and the outside impetus is
keeping them together.
right.
Until
right.
something boils
it's
over.
not important what that is. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Now,
But it's the survivors on the inside. There's your story, and I've always found that to be interesting.
now
really
there are
interesting.
some zombie movies I kind of enjoy. I really do like 28 Days Later.
Yeah, that's not a zombie movie.
I mean, it is. It's just
That's
a different
not
type
a
of
zombie. But no, it's not a zombie.
Zombies don't have to be slow.
That's a disease.
You, no,
it's
you
a
love-
disease human movie.
Okay. I understand
There's a
that.
scientific
I thought you were going
difference.
to say they're not zombies because they're not slow.
Well,
You want to because
we
you love
can,
Night of the Living Dead.
we can fight about that later on.
because you think
the
Night of
Dawn
the
of the
Living
Dead
Dead is
remake.
yeah.
The Dawn of the Dead remake
Yeah.
was bullshit.
I didn't see that one.
That's bullshit.
All right, connected to zombies, vampires.
Yeah.
Vampire zombie.
The Vampire
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse?
So the Passage is a great trilogy. I would highly recommend it. It's a big commitment to read through all these books, but they are very, very good. But also, did either of you guys see? I think we talked about this before. 30 Days of Night.
Yes. Brilliant idea. Have you seen that, Jeff?
Horrifying
No.
movie.
And do you know the concept?
No.
It's absolutely brilliant. A town in Alaska is besieged by vampires because when the sun goes down, you've got a full month
Oh, because
of
of
darkness.
Yeah, so you don't just wait it out till morning or whatever. They're always there, and they're
Yeah.
going to get you. It's
Horrifying.
terrifying.
It's horrifying.
It's a scary, scary
Yeah.
movie. I loved it.
It's really good.
I recommend it. I really do.
Yeah, it's-
Did anyone make it?
Yeah.
Well,
I think so.
under
was a guy
under
who
the
was-
same circumstances
when you're
as
wearing-
a downer
That's
of
fair.
an ending kind
But
of.
it's also, if it's 30 Days of Night, it'd be freezing the whole time. What? How could the vampires actually bite them through all these thick layers of scarves and
Well,
coats?
there's
they'll get through. They'll do it.
super humanity to these vampires.
Yeah, they're
They're
badasses.
overactive
They're really
metabolism's
badasses.
probably keeping them
They're
warm.
OP.
Blah 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 blah. It doesn't
Right.
matter. But I think in the end, is that the one where the guy has to like become what he's afraid of?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but he watches the sun come up, so he
So he
doesn't
died,
actually
yeah.
turn into a vampire. Like
Yeah.
he kills himself because he's turning into a vampire, turned into a vampire, and he
I
doesn't
think
want to live like that.
chooses
So
it.
the
I think
sun
he
comes
chooses
up,
it.
he chooses it,
If I recall.
He becomes a vampire to kill the other vampires, and then
and then the sun
And he
comes
kills
up and he
himself, yeah.
kills himself. Yeah, he
But
just
the
sits there in the
Passage-
sun. He doesn't try to.
The
escape
Passage
from
is
it.
a
It's
great,
beautiful,
great story.
and
Great-
that's about the vampire apocalypse.
Kind of. It's about the people more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a vampire style apocalypse. But it's very Stand like.
Yeah.
Except longer.
Wow,
But
I
if,
mean-
if the vampires
God damn.
kill everyone, then what do they eat when
They
they've got everyone?
don't kill everyone in the Passage. In the Passage, they basically, not exactly, but they turn humans into farms.
Yeah, you can live off humans for a long time. You don't kill them when you bite them. You can feed off a human for a long
But
time.
don't they then turn into a
on
vampire
how you get the blood
themselves?
from them.
That's the
Depends on how you
thing.
get the blood from
There's certain methods
If you bite
and means.
them, yes. It's not the only way to get blood from humans.
But if you just drain the blood from them
If you drain
without
the blood
biting,
slowly, you can drink it out of a straw
But
or
Matrix
whatever.
style.
but isn't
Yeah,
that?
yeah, exactly.
I would think that'd be less satisfying.
Well, and that's
Yeah,
why I
it's
think
not
this
as
is
good,
this
but,
one's written well because
you know.
the only vampires
Do what you can to survive.
that matter, I think there's 9 of them in this that are like taking over parts of the country, and they've got servants who don't necessarily need to feed a survivor. If they don't, it's not a big deal, but they kind of like live with their master. But Passage, really good. There's one more. It's a movie.
Sharks.
The shark apocalypse, the Sharknado apocalypse.
Sharknado apocalypse.
Right.
No, it is an uprising of sorts. Of a creation of ours.
Purge.
Oh wait, like the clone uprising?
Oh,
Robots.
robots. Oh, yeah,
uprising.
okay.
Yeah, our technology
Like,
trying to kill us, like
what's the name
Terminator.
of the Terminator
Battles-
company? Skynet?
Van Dyne Industries, something like that.
Wait, Van Dyne's something else.
Is it? I thought
I
Van
think
Dyne
so.
was...
I thought
So it's
Skynet-
basically
Skynet's
Battlestar
the
Galactica,
Terminator.
where the
Okay, yeah, Skynet was what they created. I thought the Industries were something like that.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Okay.
Van Dyne sounds right, but I think that's a different movie.
Well, I know Van Dyne's also the name of the people in the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, but I think it's something. Van Dyne,
That's right.
But I think it's similar to Van Dyne. If it's not Van Dyne, I think it's something like that. But yeah, Robot Uprising. Our technology tries to kill us.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Coming
Not,
soon.
not by failing, but by being too successful. Computers gaining sentience decide to wipe out the meatbags. or realize that it's us or them because we either will kill them or they're getting too smart, it outsmarts us. Or your entire life is already controlled by Siri. What if she turns malevolent? So those
Yeah,
are
but what's she gonna do? Taunt you to death?
Oh, no. She's going to control the machines.
Like all the machines.
The automatic
like,
factories. Like Ford Motor Company is going to turn into what comes against us.
Like Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible movie, but great idea.
It's a good short story.
That's
but,
the one.
It's,
That's
you know,
that's the
but
one
the
Stephen King
movie.
directed it, right?
Well, it was
Horrible
directed
movie,
by
but it's-
Stephen King.
It's fun though.
The best part
That's
of
the
that-
thing.
no,
It's a fun movie. It's horrible.
It's a
The
terrible
best
movie.
part of that movie is the trailer.
It's
Where he's narrating
I'm
it.
gonna scare you to death. No, Steve, I appreciate it. Your great enthusiasm is great, but no, you're not gonna scare the hell out of me.
Creep shows were
Creep Show is much scarier.
Madman Overdrive just
Cyberdyne technology. That's what it is.
I was
looked up
combining
Van
Ant-Man and
Dyne
Wasp.
and I kept finding
Combining Ant-Man and
Ant-Man,
Wasp.
like Hank Pym's company
Cyberdyne, that's
kind of
what it was.
stuff.
I like Christine.
So, but today we're
Right,
talking
right.
about The Stand.
Good book, terrible movie.
The Stand.
It wasn't. It was okay.
no, it wasn't
It's okay.
really,
It was
yeah.
better than Cujo.
Well, yeah.
That's a garbage movie.
Stephen King's The Stand.
Stephen King's The Stand,
Is
which
a
was
post-
also a good miniseries on its own. I thought.
post-apocalyptic
It was fine.
horror
Yeah.
fantasy
Did you?
novel.
I loved it.
by
It could have been so
American
much
author
better.
Stephen King.
The choices that they made for this,
Sorry, dude.
for the actors playing these.
I wanted us to have these discussions. I just didn't want to
It
get to
was
it yet.
94.
I
What are you
know,
gonna
but
do?
the acting choices that Molly Ringwald really,
Terrible choice.
really.
That was the best choice ever.
Terrible
That was a
choice.
horrible
so
choice.
It could not be less.
I
Oh
got
my
to look at
God.
Molly Ringwald for 8
Oh,
hours
it is.
straight,
Okay.
and that's what is important to me.
acting horribly in a role that
I
she
don't
couldn't
care.
play.
I don't
She's
care.
not Franny Goldsmith.
She's not
she's-
Franny Goldsmith.
She's my Molly Ringwald, is what
That's
she
fair.
is.
She can be that.
Yeah.
So,
She's called me
did
Molly.
you know that The
Call me.
Stand was an expansion off of an earlier short story?
Yes, that was
Night
in
Surf.
Night Shift.
Night
It was-
Surf is the name of the story.
Night Surf.
I don't actually know when it was, when Night Surf
I'll
was
find out.
printed.
I have this information.
But Night Surf is about this disease that wipes out humanity called Captain Trips, and there's a small group of survivors, and maybe things aren't going as well as they thought
I
initially.
believe I've read this short story.
I have not read it. I did not. I didn't even realize that until I was doing some research.
It's
But it
very
outlines
good.
the
It's
total
probably
breakdown of
nice, yeah.
society
And that's what I'm
after
thinking.
the accidental release of a strain of influenza that had been modified for biological warfare, causes an apocalyptic pandemic, which kills off the majority of the world's population.
Or it may have been in Skeleton Crew.
Not
I
sure.
think that came before Night
No,
Shift.
Night Shift was the first book of short
Night
stories.
Shift, okay.
It would have to be Night. If he wrote it before he wrote The Stand, it would have to be a Night Shift if it was published.
The novel
It
was
was a Night
originally
Shift.
The Stand was originally published in 1978 in hardcover with a setting date of 1980.
Yeah.
The first paperback release in 1980 changed the setting date to 1985.
Of course.
The book was later re-released in 1990 as The Stand Complete and Uncut Edition, which is the only one I've read, and changed the setting to 1990. So it's like it's
Yeah.
ambiguously
Right.
there.
It's modern. It continues to be modernized.
Only the dates, though.
Only
Yeah.
the dates, because the culture is obviously
fits.
from the late 70s, early
Right.
80s kind of
Yeah.
society.
The novel marks the first appearance of Randall Flagg, King's
Yeah.
recurring antagonist,
I love
Yeah.
that character.
whom
in
King
this
would bring
book.
back many times in his later writings. What else have you
Yeah.
read with Randall Flagg?
The gunslinger.
I haven't
he's
read
in.
those, but
Yeah.
I,
I only read the first
Dark
one.
Tower. Yeah, he's
I
in
think
the.
he's also in.
He's also in Eyes of the Dragon.
Yeah, Eyes of the Dragon.
Yes,
That's
he's
the
the
only
main
one I
lizard
remembered
guy
him,
in
yeah.
that with the green recluse spider.
I'm not sure is he in The Talisman or not.
See, I didn't read the
Pierce-
Talisman.
I didn't read that. I've got it, but I've never read that one.
Yeah,
That one and what was the other Black House or something
Black
like that's the
House.
second one in that
which I've
series.
not read that either. Oh, that's the sequel with Peter
Yeah.
Straub in it. Yeah, I haven't read that one either.
The Stand was nominated for a World Fantasy Award for Best Novel in 1979.
As it should be.
Was adapted into both a television miniseries for ABC and a graphic novel published by Marvel
yeah,
Comics.
it's-
Which
it's a great graphic
have,
novel.
have you been reading those?
I've read the first two books. I haven't had a chance to read as much of it
It's
as I
it's,
want.
are
it's
they?
quite a commitment.
No,
'cause
I'm
it's-
sure.
There's a lot of editions.
I love it. It's a fantastic way to get the story without having to read the entire book because
Right.
you got all the pictures and stuff telling the story. It certainly simplifies the story a lot.
I'm sure,
lots
but
of
I
stuff.
like
cuts
the
out
idea of
quite a bit.
visualizing.
And
it
so
in
when
the
I read,
story.
because I read The Stand at least every other year, if not every year,
Yeah.
but I don't read the novel every year. Sometimes I'll read that instead of the graphic novel.
Right.
So it goes faster. But it's really well done. The art is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the scenes you've envisioned in your head, like the Larry Underwood's trek through the tunnel.
Oh yeah,
Like that.
Just that's horrifying. How scary.
And so the visualization
You know?
of that, some of the nightmares, the visualizations of those. Have you gotten to Mother Abigail yet in there?
Just
Oh,
barely,
God, I
yeah.
love
Okay.
her.
Her walk to the other people's house and then back where she gets attacked by the weasels.
I don't remember
Haven't got that yet.
Okay, that's the drawing of that, and where Randall Flagg's like in the sky, the eye in the sky is really
Oh, that's cool.
In 2003, the novel was listed at number 53 on the BBC's The Big Read poll.
I think it should be higher on the list.
It's my favorite
It's a great
book.
book. It's an
It
epic
is my
novel.
number one book.
And when you're reading it, he draws you into that world more than most books I've ever read. He really makes you feel
and
like
we've
you're
talked
there.
about that before on here when we've talked about books. And what makes the story it's really fleshed out. But what's amazing is it's still, in my opinion, incomplete.
Yeah?
The ending. He just gives up.
Well,
He
it's
just
just
kinda
kind of a
stops.
cop-out ending.
It's a
right.
Deus Ex Machina.
That's always been my problem with the book. Is that he builds up towards this big apocalyptic showdown, and
Right.
then
Trash
it doesn't.
Trash Can Man ends it.
Trash Can Man ends it, and then there's 80 more pages.
Well, I like that.
Right,
I do like
right.
that part because it's got some Nick Andros, Tom Cullen, Stu Redman stuff that kind of I like that.
I know, but I'm not as invested in Redmond being saved by.
Right.
That whole story
by
doesn't. After you've
what's
had this
his
whole
name?
build up of the apocalyptic
Tom
showdown,
Cullen.
Yeah.
Tom Cullen saves
So
him at the
you
end,
have
right?
Tom Cullen
Because
save
Nick Andros
him.
has
Because
Even though
Nick
he's
Andrews
dead.
guides him right.
Which is all
Which is
nice.
brilliant.
It's
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
but it's kind of. It's,
But the story's over.
But the
why did
story's
we-
over. Why are
Yeah.
we going through
why
this?
Why did Stu get saved instead of Larry?
Right.
Because Larry had a girl as well back home and a kid,
Right.
even though he didn't actually have a son that was going to be born out of the apocalypse like Stu did. Stu
Right,
had the
right.
only, and even though it wasn't his, it was Franny's kid. But we'll come back to characters later in a moment. But it is. Well, that's one of the things I liked earlier. We were talking about D&D. This idea of good versus evil.
Yeah.
That is the Stand. That's what the Stand is all about.
Yeah.
Is good, the forces of good aligning versus the forces of evil. You've got the Boulder group.
Right.
And you've got the Las Vegas group.
Yep.
And
Well,
so,
I liked how the Las Vegas group forces particular sorts of morality through heavy punishment, but they're so authoritarian that it does remind you of a particular ideology that exists of this authoritarianism where you do it in what you say is a holy name for a holy reason.
what
Even
I
though
like
it's
about that Las
crucify
Vegas group
people
is
on the
when
side
you're
of the
reading
road.
the Las Vegas segments, with the exception of Flag, none of them read as bad guys.
No.
No.
They're
No,
not. It's not that simple. It's not just like all the serial killers right are killing people all the time because Flag takes care of them.
I love how Lloyd
Lloyd Heinlein,
has his
yeah.
doubts, but he's
committed.
He knows he's doing the wrong thing, but he owes Flag his life.
Yeah. Yep.
And he does have that sense of
Gosh,
morality,
that
which
scene
is
in
so
the, in the graphic
good.
novel where he's
Yeah.
in the prison.
Yeah.
I know.
When Lloyd finally makes the turn, not to a good guy, of course, but shows this humanity. That's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Is when Lloyd goes, "This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. I was wrong, but I made a commitment to this
Yeah.
guy." I
And
love
his
that. I
conversations
love
he
that
has
moment.
before the end. So let's get into those characters,
Yeah.
or do you want to talk through the narrative of the book before we get to the characters, or do you want to do characters first?
However you wanna do it.
We've got an hour and 15 minutes.
Well,
We've
probably-
got half
we'll
an
probably
hour
not quite
left.
that-
So
quite that long left.
What do we
So
got?
It starts with a U.S. Army base, Captain Trips.
right.
A strain of influenza from this Project Blue accidentally being released. We follow this guy named Charles Campion who's trying to escape this spread of the plague. He knows it's out. He
Right.
managed to escape the base before the base is supposed to shut down, and it would stay contained there. But there's a malfunction. The gate doesn't close all the way.
Yeah.
Campion escapes
He
with his
knows
family.
what's happening.
But he's the one who transports it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the abridged version, it just starts out with this car approaching the gas
Oh, really?
station.
Interesting.
You don't,
Is that it? I don't remember.
It starts out with
Okay.
the guys at the gas station, and this car's
Stu
running, and
and
Stu
his friends,
turning off the
So there's no
pumps.
backstory
There's
in
no
the abridged version.
Yeah, you don't get there's no prologue with the walking man walking the desert or with
Yeah.
the. You find out this stuff, but
Right.
So one other group of people you meet in this that we probably wouldn't have talked about very long is I got it in a separate. Yeah, okay. It's William Starkey, the general, and Lynn Creighton, a friend of his. Who
Oh, that was
worked-
Ed Harris. Ed Harris in the movie, and then his little buddy Billy.
Billy Starkey, yeah.
Yeah, Billy
and they
Starkey.
work for the government trying to contain the situation.
They're like the PR kind of guys there who are the speaking.
Well, they're
for
the ones who were like
CDC.
shutting down the highways
Right.
and trying to shut down. There's two of my favorite sections in the book. One is people who die after the plague. There's a series of,
right.
and so it goes, people are dying, falling into holes or getting
just
tetanus
from
or
accidents.
But my
and-
actual favorite, I think, section of the book is a series of vignettes of like a college campus and a radio station and people that are getting shut down and talking and the media spreading about this
Right.
and all those small groups of people that are being
There was
suppressed.
Kathy Bates in the film, where she's the radio person, and it's Franny's
it's a woman?
dad listening to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
In the
Franny's
book, it's a guy.
and Franny's dad is the guy from Scrubs, the older doctor from Scrubs.
Never seen Scrubs.
But he's listening to
What
the
a great
radio.
character.
He's sick.
What a great character he
This
is.
is after he's gotten sick and Franny's taking care of him, and it's Kathy Bates on the radio. It was a man in the book, wasn't it? Talking
I
on the
think there's a
radio, and they
section
hear the government bust
like,
in and start shooting her.
Black supremacists or something like that takes over a place, and then
Yeah.
it's just so many cool little stories there. But the virus, extremely contagious, spreads around beyond this. Where they try to cordon it off. No antibodies, no vaccines. Pandemic kills off 99.4% of the world's population.
Yeah.
And another cool thing is, as you're following these different characters, they're in different parts of the country, and it's being called different things.
Yeah, like Captain Trips, the
Super
flu.
flu.
Captain Trips is my favorite. That's what I call the
tube
flu
neck.
that we got in
Yeah.
the
It's
company because it felt like that.
Tube neck or something like that, where their throats were expanding
Oh,
and swelling up.
because yeah.
Total breakdown of society, widespread violence, failure of martial law, no containment.
It all just goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes wrong. Ray Walston, Jeff. Ray Walston. Come on. He was perfect. And Ozzie Davis is the judge. Come on.
I'm
Ruby Dee is
not
Abigail?
saying
Come
that.
on.
I'm not saying that everybody cast in that version of The Stand wasn't a good casting. I'm saying Molly Ringwald was horrible.
She couldn't have ruined the whole movie
And
for you, though.
She didn't
Well-
do it, but it's just every time I look at her, I'm like, she's pretty, but
what
she's
about
not
Gary
Fred.
Sinise? He was so good.
He
was
yes,
good.
he was good. But
Ray Walston.
what's that woman? What's her first name?
Laura.
Oh, Laura San Giacomo.
Yeah, she was miscast as
Yeah,
well.
I didn't like her as
She didn't-
Nadine. I didn't like her as Nadine.
And I didn't like who they cast as Larry.
Oh, what about Cora Nemec as Harold? He's not what I pictured,
I think
but I liked
your
him.
best casting in that for me is Tom Cullen.
Oh, Bill Fox.
Yeah, he was
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
And
Rob
Lowe was
Lowe
good.
was so
but
good.
there were parts of the movie, but I think that whole miniseries would work better if they would just turn it into an HBO television regular
were talks about
series.
it.
They need
There have been
to.
talks
And
about
then
that
they
or a
wouldn't have
Netflix
to-
series.
I would
do
like
that.
Then
to
they wouldn't
see
have
that
to cut
redone.
out Then they wouldn't have to cut out so many things and push it together, so that that's part of it.
As long as they
Because-
give me "Don't Fear the Reaper" in the prologue,
No.
I'm happy as a clam. That was awesome.
But here's the problem:
Adam Stork plays
They-
Larry
Adam
Underwood in
Stork,
this
and
series.
I liked him. I
what
thought
they
he
did
fine.
it was what they do with most Stephen King books that they turn into movies. They go for all the scare and they cut out all the humanity
Well, that is true.
that makes the story worth reading. And so then it's just trying to be all this fucking jump scares, which
Not
is
all the humanity, though.
Well, no,
Tom
but-
Cullen and Nick Andrews.
No, that was good. But they cut out so much of the humanity, and they're trying to hold on to these kind of scary things.
They did. They did.
And when it needs both of it in order to be told as the story that you love, I have no problem with changes being made to stories from books to movies, because that's the way that you can't do it any other way.
You have to do it.
But
yeah.
if for something like The Stand, and with most Stephen King books, if you cut out the parts of it that make it
Nothing holds it together.
that makes these characters, because it's the characters that he writes that make it such this wonderful thing. And when you cut out all the stuff that makes these characters people you care about, then who the heck cares whether they're dying or not?
But it's fun.
Well, and so let's talk about these
It's
characters.
fun.
Let's talk about these characters that we're interested
All right.
in. So
right.
who's your guy, Ron?
Who's the guy that I
Who's
want to
your
play?
guy?
Or who do
Who's
I
your
like
guy you want
best?
to play?
Who do I want to play?
Well,
in
you
that?
said Stuart Redmond, so I thought that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
Stu.
I'd love to play Stu.
He's
I'm not
kinda
a
your
Stu
everyman.
kind of character, but I'd
kinda
like
your
to play a
everyman.
Stu. I am Stu in real
He
life.
was the one.
almost.
He's the
No,
first
not
one the
at all.
government. He's the first one the government finds
Right.
who is immune.
Right.
And so they're testing him in Atlanta, and then that starts to fall away. They take him up to Vermont,
Yeah.
Stovington, I think is what it's called. Stovington,
Stovington,
in Vermont, the
CDC
plague
up
center.
there.
Mhm. And so he eventually escapes and has this horrible nightmare sequence over time about him trying to escape this facility.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Again, you're everyman. He's quiet, but he's intelligent.
He's very smart.
but he's not educated.
No, but he's
more
smart.
of a
He has a lot of
streetwise
common
kind of
sense.
exactly.
He's a Southern smart, like a Texas smart person.
Gary
He's very
Sinise. Gary
clever,
Sinise.
who I thought did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary Sinise was good.
He was great.
You're
I'll
not
stop.
going to convince me that this miniseries was better than it actually was.
I know. I am just voraciously
I own
giving
it.
my opinion. You own the
I own the
miniseries. I
miniseries.
love the miniseries.
I probably
love
have it on tape. I've watched
I
it
own
several
it.
times,
It-
but that
well.
doesn't mean it's not mediocre.
Yeah, I don't disagree with its mediocrity because, and
Wow.
the reason I find it mediocre is because I love this story so much.
I get it. I get it.
I want I want a 40-hour miniseries.
Yes.
No,
That's what
I'm with you guys. I want a Netflix or an HBO series where they can go.
I want it to be limited, though.
No, I don't
mean
want it limited. I want it to go
here's
like
what I mean.
5 seasons.
But
10
what I mean
episodes.
is-
Limited to the book.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
want them
I
to
don't
add
want any
things.
extras.
I want them to,
No,
here's
no,
our
no.
timeline, here's how long it's going to take to tell the story the way it should be told.
Yeah.
The
No,
character,
you can't deviate from the
Right.
book for something like this.
but
There's so much.
well,
in the
they're
book
creating
to
a
draw
Watchmen
from.
series, I think, on Netflix.
Oh, and they're
or
not
HBO.
doing
And
anything
it's
with
not
the graphic novel.
It's not the graphic novel.
I have no interest in that.
and
anymore.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So, Frances Goldsmith, Franny, Ogunquit Maine,
Who I love that character. Very
amazing
much.
character.
Yeah.
But not Molly Ringwald.
God damn it.
But here's the reason why she's so fascinating to me is there are times when I struggle to like her. But
Franny?
that's so real.
She's
not perfect.
That's the thing.
She's emotional at times, but so is almost every other character.
They're
Well, yeah,
all
they're-
really,
it's the
they're
plague.
really human.
I would say,
That's it. They're
with the
very
exception
human.
of Stu, almost everyone is incredibly emotional.
Yeah.
Stu's usually a couple of times he gets a little angry, but for the most part he's nonplussed.
Right.
He handles
He
it.
just wants to fix the problem. He wants to make the best of this situation.
Franny is pregnant at when this breaks out.
Whose boyfriend breaks up with her before it all
Jesse,
breaks
she
out.
breaks up with him.
She breaks
She
up
breaks
with
up
him.
with him.
because he doesn't say what she wants him to about the baby.
Right.
He's basically saying he'll do what's right.
Right, but she's
like-
not going to commit to her.
Right. And she doesn't have the feelings for him.
And then he dies.
He dies anyway, so it
Well,
doesn't
we
matter.
don't. I don't think we.
And
even
so
know he
Harold
does.
dreams of taking
Harold
care of
dreams.
Franny's
So let's
kid.
talk Harold Lauder.
Harold Lauder.
Harold Lauder is
best
not the
character in
evil.
the-
I agree.
I think he's the best character.
He really is.
He's not good.
not-
He's not good.
He's not
but
a
he is
good guy,
great
but he's
character.
not a
But
bad
here's-
guy.
I spend the entire
That's
book.
honestly, this is who I see you as.
Harold.
Like,
When
obviously
I
you're
was
older
younger,
now.
when I was
You're older
younger,
now.
yeah.
I see you as a mix of
definitely.
Harold and Glenn, the
Glenn,
sociologist.
Yeah.
The one who's like
Ray Walston.
The one who's
Ray
like
Walston, yeah.
cynical about society.
He's the one that
and-
says the dogs lived. Most of the dogs died and took their idiot masters with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see you as a
Yeah.
mix between those two.
But Harold is the best character because I spend the entire book rooting for him to turn to good because he keeps almost doing it. He keeps he is so
he
conflicted.
becomes so respected and esteemed.
He
within
becomes
the
so
culture.
respected
He
because
does
he
horrible things for one reason, one petty
Revenge.
reason.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He read her journal,
and it was based on
where he
the,
fell in
the
love with
love,
her.
the love for
Lust.
her. Oh, yeah.
But I love it when
Good character,
he's
tragic
doing
character.
the body removal, the dead body removal
Yeah.
in Boulder, and he gets the nickname Hawk.
Yeah.
And he thought they were making fun of him, but then over time he realized like they accepted him.
Yeah.
For who he is, and they think highly of him. They know how smart he is.
And then he blows up the whole goddamn town.
Yeah.
Well, he blows up the house with
But-
Susan and.
well, and part of it is Nadine.
oh,
Nadine
fucking
gets her-
Nadine.
when Nadine gets her-
She's-
when she gets her
oh,
claws
God,
into
I hate
her.
her so much.
But she's sent there by Flag.
Yeah.
Right. But I hate her.
But yeah,
much.
so
she
you-
was a bitch before Flag
Right.
ever came
Yeah,
along.
so-
though. She was evil.
But that's why Harold does evil things, but he's not evil, and he could have been one of the pillars of that community,
Right.
and part of him knows that, and he doesn't blow up he doesn't do all this stuff without realizing and being conflicted about doing it.
Right.
When they leave Boulder, he is hollow.
Yes.
yeah.
Because he realized the impact of what he's done, and then on the way to Vegas, when he gets abandoned,
Right.
Yep.
he's like he as he's dying, that little death scene he has is so.
I don't remember in the book if it's different from the movie. In the movie, it's a motorcycle.
Yeah, they're
Right,
they're
like
riding
Flag
out.
causes the motorcycle
Essentially, it's like a
wreck.
rock slide or something, and
Yeah,
Dean's
yeah.
fine, and he gets taken out. But it's an incredible character. Jeff, let's talk about you.
Well, I'm Larry Underwood, of course.
I
Larry
see a lot
Underwood,
of Larry in
absolutely.
myself as well, but
Yeah.
he is a singer, composer.
You're not as shady a character
No,
as Larry is at all.
Not as shady.
You wouldn't have borred money from the mob
No.
well, he
or
is
whatnot.
Or been on all
I don't
those
think
drugs.
he, I don't
either.
Right.
think he had forwards, but then things started
Yeah.
happening. Baby, Can You Dig Your Man is his
Right,
song. He
right.
becomes super famous in Los Angeles and tallies a debt with drug dealers and travels to New York kind of in hiding to visit
Right.
his mother,
To-
who's
to
another,
escape.
his mother, who's another really good character
Yeah.
for short time she's around.
That's such an interesting relationship because I like Larry, even though he's a shitbag when you first
Yeah.
meet him, and his mom. But when his mom gets on him so hard, you go, God, that's harsh.
Well,
She's really harsh
The
about
sentence
it.
that she says to him is one of my favorites. It says, "Loving you is like chewing on tinfoil."
Yeah.
That sentence she says to him, and then, but the thing is, it's backed up because he basically has a fling with a woman in New York, and she like throws a pan at him or something
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
And
You're not a
or it
nice
was
guy,
spatula.
Larry.
It was a
Right.
spatula.
You're not a nice
Yeah.
guy, Larry.
And then he meets Rita Blakemore,
Yeah, but
which
she
is
commits
the
suicide,
Nadine
yeah.
character before Nadine.
Kind
In the
of.
movie, Nadine is the one character.
Yeah, they combine
Rita's
the
out of
two,
it, but they're
which,
combined. Yeah.
Yeah, but Rita's an older woman who's in New York, and she's like very wealthy,
Right.
has all these jewels, is not capable of handling
Yeah.
what Earth is now. What
She's the drug addict, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if she's a drug addict as much as she's trying to escape into them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the overdose or if it's the she can't handle it.
Right.
And so when she eventually dies in the tent with him,
Yeah.
ugh, Larry describes it as 70% accident, 30% suicide.
Yeah. God.
And he feels so guilty that he wasn't a good enough person to save her.
That's what I love about
And that
Larry
kind of
is
drives
he's a
him
good
forward.
guy
He's
at
trying
heart.
so hard,
Yeah.
Yep.
but who he is and the situation he's put in,
Right.
make
He
it
has
tough for
his
him.
weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
It's
then
beautiful.
what's great is after that scene, he has a hard time being on he has a motorcycle accident because he's
Yeah.
so distracted. And he has a hard time riding, and then he meets Nadine and Joe,
I don't remember. Oh, the little
the
kid.
little kid who is actually named Leo Rockaway. We find out later when he gets to Boulder.
Oh, and then
But
in the
he's
movie,
kid
that
with
was
a
a
knife.
whole different character.
He's a kid
Yes,
with a
yes.
knife who's chasing around in like in underwear. And there's a great scene when Joe discovers Larry's guitar. Like Larry
Yeah.
plays guitar for him, and it kind of, I don't want to say saves Joe, but like breaks him
It's
out of
the
his stupor.
animalistic thing where you're drawn to the
And there's
music and
a
the
good
rhythms
scene
and all
where
that.
they're trying to siphon gas off, and Joe has to help him hold up this grate or something to that effect, like that's sealing it off. And if
Yeah.
Joe had let go, Larry's hands would have been destroyed.
Right.
But then like Larry realized that Joe has like taken a liking to him.
Right. Did you say Lucy? This is the character Lucy.
Lucy's who we meet eventually,
Yeah.
who becomes Larry's woman.
Right.
Lucy, I don't remember her last
Here,
name.
she's like a minor character.
Yeah.
Kind of a minor
Lucy
character.
Swan, Lucy Swan.
Lucy Swan, that's her.
Yeah, and there's a good scene in Boulder, Boulder when Nadine basically his whole time has been withholding sex from Larry.
Right.
And basically says, "You can save me if you'll have sex with me." But she says it after he's found Lucy, and he's trying so hard to be good
Right.
that he's not going to give in to that lust he has for her, and
Yeah.
finally commits to Lucy, and then Boulder
Yeah.
blows up.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
if he'd
exactly.
had sex with her, it could have stopped the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, but are you going to ask him to do that?
and that's why it's such a great situation.
because she waited
because-
too long. If she'd done that before he found Lucy,
Right.
yeah,
So
God, what a great
and then she
story.
moved in with Harold.
yeah,
Yeah, and then talked him into blowing up the house.
Well, they
I
did
can't
all kinds
remember
of
whose
things.
house, but it was where they were having the
It was,
meeting.
I think,
Is
Ralph
the-
and Nick's house.
Ralph
I
and Nick's
recall.
house, yeah.
So speaking of Nick,
Ralph Brentner.
We'll get to
the,
Ralph in a second.
The character that nobody cared about in the movie, but
he's
was
so good.
so
in the
good.
book. He's such a good
He's
kid.
such a great
Yeah.
character.
Nick
Again,
Andros.
another
I'll
notch
agree
on
with
the.
that. I'll agree with you on that. But the actor they got for Ralph Brentner is awesome. I love him. He was in Police Academy too. He's just a good actor.
He's a smaller
a fun
character, so
actor.
he's later on in here.
Yeah.
Wow, I still haven't. Oh, here we go. Peter Van Norden is the actor who plays that.
Yeah, I love him.
So Nick Andros is deaf mute.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in this world,
Fascinating
in this
character.
world where society's falling apart, he can't talk and he can't hear.
Yeah.
And so there's a great. I mean, his opening story I find fascinating, where he's basically in this town in Arkansas, Shoyo, Arkansas, and gets assaulted by
beaten
these
up,
kids.
yeah.
And then the sheriff takes him in, and the sheriff's just this really good guy. The sheriff's wife is sweet. And
Right.
he basically ends up taking over.
He becomes the sheriff when the sheriff
becomes the sheriff
gets
when he dies,
deputized
yeah.
and starts protecting people in his town. There's a doctor.
The doctor's a really benevolent character.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's
I love
so
the,
good to
the
him.
doctor who's like, we need to get the fuck out.
And then Ray Booth comes back in the end and nearly and blinds one of his eyes.
Yeah.
So he's basically got one eye, no ears, can't talk.
Right.
And you get this backstory in him how he learned to write and learned language from this guy who's also
Yeah.
deaf and mute and wouldn't take his pity of himself. And then Nick becomes kind of a leader in the idea man, if you will. Him and Glenn.
He I think is on the same level as Stu as far as the charismatic leaders.
but can't speak.
Excuse
but
me,
he,
right.
I think, is one of the ones who's drawn most strongly to Mother Abigail.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
even though he resists it.
Well, that's the funny thing because he's a devout atheist, and Mother Abigail is the opposite of.
Oh yeah,
of
she is
that.
God's tool essentially in this God versus evil. So Mother Abigail Fremantle, her backstory is another one of the great parts of this, where it's going through her being a young black child,
Yeah.
and how she survived all her children and grandchildren, but wouldn't advance with technology. Still had her
Yeah, out in the middle of the
outhouse,
cornfields in
outhouse.
Kansas, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Hemming
Of
for
course,
help.
Nebraska.
So
That's
she-
where the children
Nebraska.
of the corn are.
So she wasn't impacted at all when all the
No.
stuff stopped working.
She
Yeah.
is the
Everything was
one
fine.
people are. I'm going to put good in air quotes. The good people are dream of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pulls them to her, and then she realizes we need to go to Boulder, and kind of goes them there, and then she has this thing where she becomes prideful.
Well, I was about to say the sin of pride is so interesting in that when she allows people to come up
to
and
her
meet
and
her,
becomes that, yeah.
yeah, where she acts like she's
And she
Is that
comes
the character
back.
that you would play, Jared? You haven't said
Mother
who you would
Abigail.
play.
That'd be Jared.
I think
Mother Abigail.
I think I'm a mix of like Nick and Larry.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great Nick Andros if we were
He's
to
younger than
cast
I
it
am.
right
He's
now.
younger than I am now, but I can kind of.
Yeah, but you could see it doesn't matter. You still look 22 when you can, when you want to. You can.
Yeah,
It's unfair.
but
Maybe the Walking Dude.
But another great thing about Mother
Walking
Abigail.
Dude.
I wanna play
it'd be
the
fun to
Walking
play for that
Dude.
guy. I never used to play that
I'd
guy.
love to
I'd
play
love to
Randall
play the Walking
Flagg.
Dude.
I think I would play a better Lloyd than Randall.
Yeah.
Because
Like
of
a
his
good
conflict-
Lloyd.
because of his
You'd be Lloyd.
You'd
conflict.
be a really good Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. We need
but-
to make this movie, just the
yeah.
three of us starring as
As everybody.
everyone.
So another thing about Mother Abigail, she goes on this journey to the wilderness to escape, to deal with pride, but she comes back just in time to save some of people.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't come back, some people wouldn't have left the house to find
Right.
her. But what fascinates me is Nick goes to the bomb.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, he knows it's there, and I don't know why King wrote it that way, but that he goes to the bomb and dies at the bomb.
Oh, he was a sacrificial lamb
Yeah, I
for
guess so,
Stephen
yeah.
King in that story, I think.
We had to blow him up so that he could then come back
As a
as
ghost.
save
ghost
Stu
and
at the
save
end,
Stu at
right.
the end.
Using Tom Cullen.
Right.
Another
As
incredible
a vessel.
character.
Tom Cullen is one of
Oh,
the
that's
best characters
great.
ever.
Well,
love
and what
Tom.
makes him not what makes him such a great character. What makes him so fascinating to me is he's the first person Nick meets.
Yeah.
Nick, who can't talk and can't hear,
Right.
meets
Meets a developmentally
a
disabled
mentally challenged
person.
person.
It's just brilliant.
MOON, that spells Tom Cullen.
I love that. I love in the movie and probably in the book where he actually has the answer is moon.
MOON, that's
Yeah.
what
And he
moon.
spells moon. Yeah, it's just a cute little moment with Tom Cullen.
We've talked
Such
about
a great
Nadine a little
character.
bit. She is basically Randall Flagg's vessel.
She's more evil than Randall
Yeah.
Flagg. I hate that character
She's the
so
vessel
much.
for his child.
Yeah.
Antichrist
Her
to be
de- her
born.
devil-
She's
child,
retained
yeah.
her virginity for that, and her hair turning white over the
Yes.
course of the thing.
God,
but
she's
her
awful.
backstory, where she's on the Ouija board, and Randall Flagg's communicating with her when she's with all these people she doesn't
Yeah.
really know.
The best thing Nadine does in the whole story is jump off the fucking balcony.
She doesn't.
She doesn't in the.
She doesn't
in the,
jump
that's
off
how
in the
she
book.
does it in the movie.
In the book, she convinces or like eggs Flag on until Flag kills her. Flag throws
That's
her
right.
over.
Yep.
That's right. Oh, that would have been better in the movie anyway.
Yeah, it would have.
I like that.
So Glenn Bateman, again, kind of who I see Ron as. He's not overly cynical in the book,
Yeah.
but he is a sociologist essentially
Yeah.
who helps rebuild society
I love Bateman.
from a backseat kind of role.
Yeah.
He's never the voice.
He's the brain though.
He's just like, all right. And the conversations between him and Stu are great.
Yeah.
Stu will constantly go to him to pick his brain, and he's the one with Kojak the dog.
Well, I was
Yeah.
about to say Kojak the dog is great. It's a golden retriever, I think.
don't think
Stealing
he's a
from
golden
Dean
retriever.
Koontz' book.
Irish setter.
I don't know. Irish
He's an
setter, okay.
in the book anyway.
Yeah.
But he is one of the four guys who journeys.
At the end. He's one of the
Stu,
three that
Larry,
end up-
Ralph,
Yeah.
and Glenn. He
Yeah.
actually dies before.
He
the
gets
bomb.
killed. He gets shot. He gets shot before
Yep.
the bomb.
Yeah, it's just
He's made
Larry
an example
and,
of out on the highway, right? Or something like that.
He gets hung, I think, on
no,
the
he
cross.
goes to the prison.
Yeah, he goes to prison.
He goes to the prison.
I don't
yeah.
exactly remember how he does, but I'm pretty sure he's killed by someone before that.
Yeah,
but
he
there's a
doesn't
great
get the bomb
moment,
at the
a
end.
very Jesus line when Heinrich gets
I think Flag killed him because he keeps egging him on.
That's what it was. He keeps.
He
taunting-
sends a
Who
little
are the
orb or
three? It's
something.
Ralph Brentner and
Stu,
Larry and
Stu.
Stu. No,
Stu
who
doesn't
are
make it.
tied up at the
Yeah,
end.
those three are the only ones who
didn't
make it. Stu gets hurt.
Well, who
but,
was the third one tied to the cross? Was that at
They
the
aren't-
end?
they're not on the
Three.
cross. They're getting
Yeah.
pulled apart. But
Yeah.
they're
Okay,
going
yeah.
to be drawn and
But
quartered.
it's Ralph.
But that was-
it's Ralph, Glenn, and
Larry.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Glenn got killed in the prison before.
Well,
all
he
that
does.
happened.
It's only the two
So
of
it's
them.
Ralph
that
and
got-
Larry are the
Ralph
only
and Larry
two-
are the only
Ralph
two
and
that make
Larry
it
are
to
the
the end.
two
They're in
that
a
are getting
cage at the end.
yanked.
But,
Poor
there's,
Ralph.
but Lloyd
I like him.
has been ordered to execute Bateman, and Glenn says, "It's all right, Mr. Heinrich, you don't know any better," which
I
is
love
just
that line.
because Lloyd is just kind of falling apart by this time.
Yeah.
But Glenn is again one of the ones who helps rebuild. They have all these ideas, but him and then Harold has a lot of the ideas too.
Harold's a smart kid.
Two women
Yeah.
who are pretty small roles, but pretty integral roles.
Susan
Susan
Stern, yeah.
part of the harem,
Right. The hair.
and then Dana Jurgens.
And that's
Dana is
That's
one of
not
my
Larry's
favorites.
girlfriend. Who's
No, Lucy Swan is Larry's. I think
right.
Dana's a lesbian with
She
Susan. I think
sent
they're
over.
lesbians.
She sent a spy on
She
Las
sent a
Vegas.
spy,
and
right?
Yeah,
And she was
with
going to
Tom
kill
Cullen.
Randall
She sees
Flagg.
Tom Cullen. Yeah.
She intends to kill Randall Flagg. She has this wrist-mounted blade that she's
Yeah.
going to kill him with, and she does it. I think it becomes like a banana or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then Flagg is going to interrogate her, but she slits her own throat on glass. Like
Yeah.
he's throwing her around and breaks the glass, and she kills herself so that he can't interrogate her. And there's a great moment when Dana knows Tom Cullen is the other spy,
Right.
but Flagg can't find Tom Cullen.
Right.
The Flagg knew the judge was a spy. Flagg knew that Dana was a spy, but he can't read Tom Cullen's mind.
He just sees the image of the moon, and that's all he can see.
He knows that Dana knows who the spy is, but Dana won't tell him.
Right.
And it infuriates him to the point where he kills her accidentally.
Right.
Or he allows her to die.
Well, that's the one little chink in the armor right there
And
at that point.
And people start to see that in Flagg, that Flagg can't find out who the spy is.
Right, he's not
Flagg
perfect.
can't control Trash Can Man, who we'll come to in a second.
Well, that's when they keep wanting to. They start
So some
getting
people
out
start leaving.
of Vegas, don't they? Or trying.
Judge Ferris. Such a small character,
I like
but I
Judge.
want an
But
entire
such a
story.
pivotal character.
I want an entire story about him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
got
he's
so much
great.
wisdom. He's the one when Larry comes to him, he's like, "You want me to be a spy, don't you?"
Right.
I know. He's like Glenn, but just not as prominent. He's like, "Yeah, I
That's
know what
it.
you're gonna do."
Yeah.
Great character.
Yeah. The judge and Glenn are
And his
very
murder,
similar
his
as
death.
far as that.
Because
They go, "That's on
they
the
were
highway."
trying to capture him.
They shoot him on the
and
highway.
there's a guy,
Yes.
Bobby Terry is the character.
Is the main enforcer. For,
Well, not a main enforcer. He's this very small character.
Yeah.
But Flagg sends out all these small people. These
Is he the
underlings.
former cop?
I don't
from
think
Las
we
Vegas?
know
Okay,
anything about
there's-
Bobby
there's
Terry.
one of them that was
Whitney
a former
Horgan,
cop
I
or
think,
something
or something like that. Or
Maybe
Dorgan.
that was it.
But Bobby Terry, you only know this once, and he's basically sent to capture the judge and not to kill him.
Yeah.
But he blows his head off.
And if he were going to kill him, the one thing was don't shoot him
don't
where
mark
it'll
his
mess
head.
up the face. Yeah.
So we're gonna send that message, and he shoots him in the head,
And he dies for it,
And
then
then
he
Randall
gets killed
Flagg
for it.
shows up, and it's all these teeth, and
Yeah.
kills Bobby Terry, and
Yeah. Well,
really cool.
way to go, Bobby.
So
You
we got
had
Randall
one
Flagg.
job,
You
Terry.
got Randall Flagg. He's the personification of evil. You have all these moments where he's the walking dude, walking around with all these markers of things where he's been like participating in the Vietnam War, the KKK, murder of police officers, race riots, maybe involved in Charles Manson's family, like instigating,
Right.
being a part of
Yeah.
these moments. He has these powers. He levitates at one point. He seems to be able to travel in spirit animals, and
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
he's the main character from Please Allow Me to Introduce Myself. Sympathy for the Devil.
Oh,
For
okay.
the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those stories.
Yeah.
He was there. Same thing with Needful Things.
Yeah.
The Leland Gaunt told the same kind of stories, that he was there when this happened or this happened and this happened. Love that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read Needful Things, so I don't
God,
remember.
I love that one so much. I like the movie too. I'm the one guy who likes the movie.
Yeah,
Trash
you're
Can
the-
Man.
It's not a good movie.
You're the one guy who likes that movie.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
talk-
not at all a good
Let's
movie.
talk
but I
Trash
like
Can
it.
Man. I know we're running out of time here, but
Old
Donald
Trash Can
Merwin
Man.
Elbert from Indiana.
I love Trash Can Man.
Schizophrenic,
Who knows what to
pyromaniac.
think of this guy? Which side is he on? I don't know.
He's on his own side.
He's on his own side.
That's
the thing.
exactly
But
it.
there's this. He is compelled stronger than anyone to come to Las Vegas.
Well, I like how somebody
Sea of
calls
Gold,
Trash Can
Sea
Man
of Gold,
crazy,
yeah.
and Lloyd Henry's like,
Behind
yeah,
Ryan.
he's really crazier than the rest of us,
Yeah.
honestly.
But
know?
you get all these stories of him setting fires throughout Indiana
Yeah.
and
Right.
blowing cities up, essentially.
Yep.
And then he meets the kid.
Wait, who's the kid?
I say, you're a bridge version. The kid is a very small character. In Unabridged, he's a huge character. The kid is a thug from Shreveport, Louisiana, who has this hot rod car, who loves his beer and whiskey, and he sodomizes
Right.
Trash
He's-
Can
he's
Man,
your average-
forces him
he
to give a
sodomizes
hand
Trash
job with
Can
with a
Man?
pistol.
No shit.
Whoa.
Well, I
They're-
missed that.
They're in a
one.
motel, and Trash Can Man is trying to escape. He believes in the Dark Man, but the kid says he's going to overthrow the Dark Man.
Oh shit.
And so there's
I
another
am-
scene where Lloyd is scouting ahead, trying to clear a tunnel. He comes back into the car, and these wolves come to the car, and and Trash Can Man is escorted out by the wolves. The kid is trapped in the car while the wolves surround it. When some of the survivors of the good guys, air quotes later,
Yeah.
are coming west to get to Boulder, they come across the car. And you see that he tried to escape and the wolves got him.
Oh, that's
But the kid is a
great.
really it's one of the things that he added to the unabridged version.
Oh, I like
is
that.
an expansion on the
subplot.
kid.
That's good.
Almost like he's trying to be. We got Julie Lowry,
Yeah.
I know the
young
name, and I can't
sexpot
remember
who
her.
Nick Andros meets.
Oh, the horrible.
The
Oh,
one who-
she's horrible. She's like a
horrible
child
Tom.
almost. Yeah.
She's trying to convince Tom not to take medicine,
Right.
Because he's poisoned.
He
while Nick
ate all
trying to
the
help
apples
him,
and goes
Nick
for the Pepto.
slaps her
Yeah.
after having sex with her.
But he slaps her, and I'm not condoning slapping
Yeah.
a woman or anything like that, but
He's
she
helpless.
taunts him.
Well, he's helpless.
She
He
taunts
can't
him so
explain
much.
to Tom,
Right.
Because Tom can't read, and all Nick can do is write.
And she's evil. She's awful.
Yeah, she's
Just
probably
an
one of the
awful
most evil
person.
people.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of reasons why, but she's using sex to try to manipulate people.
Right.
She's the one who
Yeah, then
tells.
she goes to Flag.
She's
though.
the one who tells
She goes
Lloyd
to
that
Flag,
Tom
yeah.
Cullen is the spy after Tom's already started to
Right.
escape. That's probably all I'm really going to get into in terms of characters.
Oh, my God.
But that's the reason why I want to spend so much time on it, is because the reason I love this book is the characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautifully drawn. They're realistic.
It's amazing how
almost
he-
none
yeah.
of them are one-dimensional.
Yeah, and they're all different.
Even the ones
Yeah.
who get small scenes.
Yeah.
Like, one of the coolest moments is you're in Las Vegas, and you're meeting all the bad guys, air quotes, and they're
Right.
around this table accepting Lloyd, and there's a baby, and they'll take turns taking care of this
Yeah.
baby. And they're not bad people, they're just,
This
this is their lot in
My
life.
favorite villains are the ones who show a sense of humanity.
Yeah.
Who
There's a kid
who
named
do
Ace
good
High.
things.
There's a kid named Ace High who's at this table with Lloyd, and they all kind of like him a little bit. He's a little cocky and weird.
Yeah.
And then he gets put on a cross.
Yeah.
Because he's a drug user, and the society in Las Vegas that Randall Flagg is starting, they don't tolerate drug use,
Right.
because it corrupts your mind. You can't follow his orders.
Yeah.
But just a fascinating tale. Again, the only thing I struggle with is at the end. Spoiler alert! I don't mind spoiling this because it's a dumb ending.
Yeah.
The 4 people are sent by Mother Abigail out west to make a stand, essentially.
Right.
To go and confront Flagg, and they're walking. Stu gets hurt. He can't make the journey, so Larry's in charge. Larry takes Ralph and Glenn. They go out west. They get captured immediately.
Yeah.
They're in jail. And while everyone is gathered to watch these people get killed,
Right.
Trash Can Man, who's been on his tear because he accidentally, he blew up people because they made fun of him. Or
Right.
he thought they were making fun of him. He comes back with
A
a
new
weapon of mass
A nuke,
destruction.
yeah.
And the hand of God descends,
That's what-
as Ralph Brittner describes it. This lightning bolt basically comes from the sky, hits the
Right.
nuke, and blows up Las Vegas.
Now, in the movie, those were awesome special effects for 1994.
Yeah.
You have to admit, the golden hand
Yeah.
coming out of...
I just-
No, it's dumb.
I just struggle
But
with
it looked cool.
What was the point of them making a stand?
Nothing.
Is it
That's
just
the problem. There was
making
no
sure
point.
Randall Flagg is there?
Right.
Because those ones from the Free Society or the Boulder Free Society or people or whatever there, Flagg shows up personally. Everyone's there, so the nuke will kill all of them.
If
But
they
it doesn't
had-
kill Flag because he winks
comes
out.
back and
before-
Right, he
Exactly.
becomes a bird.
Well,
or the-
in the
or
book,
the
he
raven.
winks out. He dissolves.
blink.
But
Okay.
he is almost defeated because he shows up not powerlessly, but to a group of natives, and I think it's South America,
Yeah.
who he can like manipulate and start over again, essentially. But he takes out all the bad people, air quotes, and gets rid of all of Flagg's ability to destroy Boulder.
Well, had the good guys never gone out, had they done none of this, would it have really changed? Trash Can Man still would have shown up
probably
with
come
a
back
nuke.
at that time,
And there
the
still
Hand of
would have
God
been a
still could have
parade
descended.
show
The only
of
thing
him
maybe
killing
you could
somebody.
maybe you could argue that because excuse me, because Ralph, Stu, Glenn, Larry were obedient,
Right.
God fulfilled his end of the bargain. You could argue that it's still not a great
Yeah,
ending,
but
though.
is God a bargainer?
My favorite ending of the book, because there's like 6 endings of the book,
Yeah.
is Stu survives. Tom Cullen leads him, helps him, saves his life using penicillin
Right.
because Nick Andros' ghost guides him, gets him back to Boulder, and Franny's child is born, survives the
Normal.
flu.
There's
We
no
know
flu.
babies born now can survive the flu.
Right.
And they don't like the society they've come back to.
Right.
We've fallen into the same pit trap. These politicians have taken over, so Franny and Stu leave.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of like that what Glenn saw coming is society is society.
Yeah.
It is destined to fail from the start.
Right.
I think that ending of The Stand is interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
That kind of
But
conclusion.
it goes to show that Stephen King never knows where he's going
No,
when
he
he
has no
starts
idea
writing a
what
book.
he's
And
Right.
so he does this great thing about building up suspense. And The Stand isn't the only book of his where I'm disappointed in the ending. It's like he gets to
No,
a point
but
it's
I've
like,
read a few.
okay,
Under
well,
the Dome ruined me on him.
Yeah,
then it's
well,
like
Bag of Bones
then he
was the same
has
for
to
me.
decide, okay, well, I got to end this. And then so
Yeah.
he comes up with an ending that doesn't feel like it's right for where you've been building all of this
Right.
suspense for.
Yeah, after I read Under the Dome, I stopped reading every Stephen King book. I at that point in time,
Damn.
after I read Stand and It, I'm like, oh, I need Salem's Lot, I need this
Yeah.
one, I need this one, and then there've been several since then. I'm like, I'm not in this at all. Whereas I'm
haven't-
not like that with Michael Crichton. Like, Michael Crichton, almost every book I've read,
Now,
I'm
every book
I'm
is a
captivated
page
by.
turner. Even like Disclosure should be boring, but it's not.
See, I haven't read that one because it's not sciencey, but
Right.
I'm sure I would still.
Oh,
get it.
there's a lot of
Like-
science in it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all technology.
Airframe is kind of like that. It's one.
Desperation was that for me.
See, that one's when
I read that first chapter and I
I do
went,
like
God,
Desperation.
I don't care.
I do actually like
just don't
Desperation.
care.
I hated Desperation.
Dreamcatcher, I gave up on.
Dreamcatcher.
Tommy Knockers,
Yeah,
I read all the way through. I didn't
only
really care
saw
about
the movie,
Tommy
but
Knockers.
I walked. That was
I
the
like
first-
Tommy Knockers, but
I didn't care for
Yeah,
Tommy Knockers.
Needful Things was alright.
I love Needful Things. Dreamcatcher is the only Rob Reiner movie and the only Stephen King movie where I walked out and went, that was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen.
I didn't
in
see
my
the
life.
movie, but I
It
gave
was
up on the book.
Awful.
Like, I was like
Dreamcatcher, the movie is it's a
10 chapters
mess.
in.
It's just a mess. There's
And honestly,
this
probably because
lack
the
of
source material's a
cohesion.
mess.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awful. It was just terrible.
Well,
There were good moments, but that was it.
not so much a report, just a discussion of The Stand. We've had discussions about The Stand before because we.
It's
all
the
three of us-
best book ever
all of
written.
us are
Like,
so
it's an
passionate
amazing
about it.
book. Yeah.
But it's not perfect, which is great too. But the characters
Maybe
are
that's
wonderful.
the charm. Maybe that's the charm
Yeah.
to it, is that it isn't
But I go back to it all the time.
Yeah.
That and it. I almost like alternate years with it and The Stand because I think it is as good with characters.
And the crazy thing about it is, despite it being 1,200 pages or so, it's a quick read. For an 1,100 page book, it's not a quick read by any
It's-
measure other than
its
for that many
style is
pages.
so good.
Yeah.
The narrative framing of that book and how you're with the adults and they start to say something and it just magically becomes the kids. And,
I like it because if you started reading at 7 o'clock in the morning, you'll still be reading at 8
Yeah.
o'clock that night if you have nothing to do.
both
that
these
day.
books
It's just,
are the
you
kind of
gotta
books where
keep reading.
if I'm reading at 11:30, it's 3 a.m. and I didn't
Yeah.
realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
I
excellent
highly
books.
recommend The Stand. We would love to hear your thoughts on it if you've read it. If you have not, I would suggest.
Can't
Now,
recommend it enough.
I can't, but I also know some people who, if you're not a reader, this is a lot to commit to. But the graphic novels are great as well.
And the film is still
And
fun.
it still
I'm
carries
going
the
to stand
story.
by that. The film is still a fun little movie.
It's fine.
It's soap opera-y. If you
Yeah,
can,
it is.
if you can indulge in that sort of, this
It
is
tells
so
the story.
dumb.
It tells the story.
It tells the
but
story
again, for
accurately
me, The Stand
in
isn't
some
about the story.
parts where it tells it. You know,
Yeah. For me, that's why I will never read anything that's not the unabridged version because
Yeah.
I want every detail about these people.
Right.
I get. I think it's fascinating. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Love to hear
Yeah.
your concepts for our D&D campaign.
right?
If you agree with our class choices,
yeah,
what your class would
absolutely.
be.
If you want to hear me continue to talk about
Yeah.
whatever,
No,
you
that-
know,
that-
I'll
that-
be
that is
happy
Ryan's
to
course.
regale you with stories that
I
these
think
guys no longer
Emily
care about.
Kohler's a cleric.
Emily Kohler is a cleric,
Yeah.
or a saint. Is that we
Yes.
should make a saint
Yeah. Class
kind
for
of
her.
thing? Somebody else was
Yeah,
talking about
her-
Emily.
yeah, she walks into a
it was
combat
Joe.
scenario.
It was Jeff's wife this
Yeah.
morning. Talking
The three of
about
us are
how
fighting.
Beautiful Emily is.
Jeff is casting
Was she?
spells.
Wonderful character. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a wonderful human being
Oh, she is.
altogether. She's
Jeff is
the best
casting
of them.
spells.
Right.
I'm shooting arrows or something. Ron is backstabbing a character.
As I do.
We're in the middle of this fight. It's difficult. Emily walks up and the fight just ends.
And it ends. She goes, "There shall be peace."
Yeah,
and everybody just relaxes
okay.
for a bit. Yeah.
Ron puts his daggers
And
away. Ron gets one last stab in, then puts his daggers
Well,
away.
yeah, I'm not going to not stab somebody one last time, but she comes with She comes with a
Yeah.
plate of
Donuts,
scones or
yeah.
something like that, and she's like, "Everybody just have a scone."
Okay.
And we all do,
Emily,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh, Emily, thank
why
you so
can't
much.
everybody just
Why
get
are we
along?
fighting?
The dragon,
right.
the
That's
dragon
Emily.
decides to share his treasure with everyone else.
Emily is one of those few people that have the Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross personality
Yeah.
that soothes you immediately upon seeing her and talking to her.
I think
True.
I think
Yeah.
Jake is a bard.
Jake is a bard.
Yeah.
He is a beautiful bard,
Mm-hmm.
a well-meaning bard.
Love to hear your thoughts on these things.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Stay
stay
wild.
wild.
Stay wild.
Bite the edge.
What?